Hi everyone, so we're here today. This is your mental fitness trio, and my name is Breach and I'm in Ireland, and I'll let my friends introduce themselves there.
Hi there, I'm Eddie Blight. I'm from South Africa and actually live in the southernmost municipality of the continent of Africa. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Anita and I'm on the west coast of Ireland, and yeah, I'm living in a place called County Clare, so happy to be here with you guys, discussing our well-being.
Yeah, and thank you all to those who watched our first video, and we're looking forward to having another chat today. And today's topic, we're going to talk about resilience. So, and of course, it's like everything, people have different ideas of what resilience is. And I really like the HeartMath definition of resilience. So it says that resilience is a capacity to prepare for, to recover from, and to adapt in the face of stress, challenge, and adversity. And I think that's quite a good definition of resilience. It kind of covers a lot. And what I really like about it is that it's saying we have a capacity to prepare for. So it's not like we can have, it's like having an inner battery. We can have it charged up so that when something happens, we have that battery of resilience to work out of.
Okay, yeah, that's I think that is something that we as human beings actually inherently have in us, but we sort of sometimes just let the moment get too big for us, or but at the end of the day, we actually have that ability to move through it and deal with adversity.
Yeah, you're right about that. We resilience, like most people have that already in them, and it's a bit like what you were talking about last week, Eddie, on the video about like how people just automatically do things that help themselves. And I think it's the same with resilience. We have that ability to really face life challenges. It's just sometimes we could do with having the extra little tools that give us the boost for it.
So can I just, what is the, from a tool perspective, I think there's this thing that we always have these little things that we're rubbing stones or whatever it is, which is a key to calming your mind. But resilience comes in so many forms that it really can actually catch you out when you need resilience. Let's rather put it that way. So, please, what would that be with HeartMath? How do they deal with that thing?
Well, I suppose the main tool with HeartMath would be that becoming really aware of your breath. That would be the main thing. And from a HeartMath point of view, so I suppose the first thing in for resilience is to, or anything, I suppose, is to become aware of where you are being, I suppose, triggered, or that you're losing your energy. You know when I said, like, it's like resilience, you could say it's like having a battery and having that inner battery charged up. So I think the first thing before you try to use any tool, is to kind of be aware of, where is my battery really being, I'm trying to think, what's the word? Depleted is the word I'm looking for. So where am I really depleting? What's happening in the day, in an ordinary day even? What's happening either externally or internally where I'm really feeling depleted? So the first, I suppose, the HeartMath first tool would be to become aware, and then just to just basically, I suppose, stop and just take a few breaths deeper and slower than you normally would. Just to become aware of your breath and just take a deeper and slower breath than you normally would. And just that simple action stops the depletion. It may not start increasing your resilience, but it will just stop that flow from yourself. So it's like your stone last time. It's a very simple technique, and that's the first start, I would say.
Fascinating, actually. I think the other thing that we also need to recognize is that although we build resilience, it doesn't take the issue away. And I think that's so important, that we always remember that, again, I used the words last time. I've got to be difficult, be careful that I don't hammer on that too much, but it really comes to life is tough and things are going to happen to us. And we should be careful that we don't think that just because we have certain tools, like a little stone or breathing, that the issue is going away. It is that it just helps us how to deal with the issue that is challenging us, and where we then need that resilience.
Yeah.
And I suppose one of the key things within this, and also from the perspective of HeartMath with regard to it, is like, I would look at it as if your physical fitness, and if you want to be able to, for example, run for that bus, or just suddenly initiate some extra energy, then you can't just continue about your normal life and expect to just be able to do that off the block. You've got to actually work on that in the moments that aren't requiring that extra boost of energy. So on those days where things are just, moving along with kind of ease and flow as they normally would, those are the days where you take that little bit of time to practice and build your capacity for resilience, your capacity, within that inner battery. Make sure it's topped up. And then when those challenges occur, you actually have got enough in the tank to initiate that extra boost of energy that you need at that time, without completely being, in the red or on empty. Just like your fuel tank in your car as well. You don't just drive it along until it's completely empty. You make sure you've it topped up, especially. And the other thing within HeartMath as well is that you would look at, if I know that I'm going to have, let's place it in the medium of work where people are, say, in that business area, that they're having regular meetings. And if I know that I've got a meeting coming up that's going to be a little bit more challenging for me, then maybe I might choose in that morning before I go to work to do a little bit of an extra long session within my meditative practice, or even the few minutes before the meeting, I might just take 2 minutes out and again move into one of my practices. And the other valuable then is that when I go in there, I'm better able to cope with whatever comes at me. I'm able to move back into my place of centeredness. And I'm able to create space between me and what's happening in order to have the capacity to respond. So just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and it's true. And we all know that it's, when we're that running on empty, it's much easier for us to get knocked over by something that mightn't really have done too much damage on the day when we're in full capacity. And that's, that we all know that, we even have the saying, like, I'm running on empty, we just know what that feels like. And that's fine some of the time, but if you're running on empty all of the time, then life's challenges are going to be harder for you, because you just don't have that resilience, or you just don't have even just the lightness of being to kind of maybe tap things away. It's like, I'm just getting the image here of, like, you're playing tennis and the ball's coming hard. If you've got the bit of energy, you'll tap it back. But if you're really feeling tired, you'll feel like all those balls are coming at you and they're all just hitting you, so rather than you batting them back. So even though life, there are challenges, and they're always going to be, the more we have that battery, the more we have filled up the tank, the easier it'll be. And sometimes we can just see little solutions that we wouldn't see when we're depleted. Like when we're depleted, everything seems so bad. But once you have a bit of energy, you know, you can suddenly see, oh, maybe I could do this, or maybe I can do it that way, you know. So that's the advantage of it as well.
So please, on the HeartMath, and perhaps we should just, you guys can just have a quick tell about what HeartMath is, because we're using terms that some of the audience might not know, but it is, what is that effect on you, on your body, on your, literally on your heart?
Right. So, yeah, so maybe we should, because we started. So, I mean, that most of the HeartMath tools are aimed at creating a state, what's known as coherence. So, so coherence is really that optimal state in our body where everything is in a balanced state, I suppose, is what you could describe it as. So coherence is based, it's called heart coherence. So it's based on, what's the word I'm looking for? So our heart rate variability. So when our heart is beating, we don't have the same length of time between each beat. You know, like we think, like, suppose my heart is beating at 60 times a minute, but it isn't an exact time between each one. There's a slight difference. It might be 0.9 of a second or 1.1. If it was the same between each one, we'd actually have a flat line and we'd be dead. So that we have to have a heart rate variability. So what the coherence is measuring is how, coherence is the word. I'm hoping Anita will help me out with the phrase here. What's the word that we're looking at? Is that it's, so when we're not coherent, and you were to look at it.
Yeah, we're looking for all of the different systems within the mind, the body, and the heart to be speaking to each other, communicating really clearly, because the heart is sending those messages out. And yeah, so that coherence means that there is a heart-brain harmony.
Yeah. And if you were to look at a graph of your heart when you're not coherent with your heartbeat, it would be very jagged. It would be like this, really, really jagged. When you get into the coherence, which is, and all that the coherence is, all that creates, all you need to do is some breathing techniques that are really easy to do. You'll get this lovely sine wave where it's really nice and even. So your heart is going like that. And as Anita says, when it's like that, it's sending those coherent waves up to your brain, and then your brain is sending that back to your body. So, and your body just reacts better. You know, it's easier. It really, the studies show that we perform better, and it makes sense. We're in that better. So that's what we're aiming at with HeartMath, is to get that coherence. And with practice, it's like everything. you can increase your coherence, but not even increase it. And that then increases your resilience, you know, and it can help with sleep, and it definitely helps with performance.
Basically, it helps the body to come back into homeostasis.
Yeah.
You know, that state of just being centered and balanced, really, within all of the systems. So it's like, again, if you were to run for that bus, your heart rate goes up, your breathing rate goes up, you get there, you sit on the bus, and then basically your body brings itself back into balance by your heart rate slows down again, your breathing rate goes back to normal, and you just start to feel calm and centered again.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, your fitness was a little bit lower.
That's
and it's going to take a bit longer for you to come back. So the more that we practice and develop, again, our capacity for coherence, the quicker that we will return to that state of balance.
Yeah. And
whether the challenges are happening internally or externally.
Yeah, and that's interesting when you say that, Anita. That just reminds me of that HeartMath, actually, the tools are used, you know, lots of the police force in America are trained in the HeartMath techniques. So they would use HeartMath techniques before, you know, in their normal daily life. And then if they've been involved in an incident, like we'd say a gun incident or a traffic, whatever it is, where their coherence will have totally gone, you know, and they'll have got really stressed, I suppose, for the want of a better word. They have found then if they use the tools again after the incident, they come back to that harmonious state much more quickly. And of course, it's helping their bodies by doing that. It's quite amazing studies on that, and they can see where their heart rate.
It is really, really interesting, all right,
Yeah.
because they did wear the biofeedback, which is another aspect, I suppose, to that practice, is that you're getting live feedback from the heart rate variability in your body, and they're able to measure the coherence. So in those studies, the like the NYPD, they would warn biofeedback, and they obviously faced quite situations where their life's in danger, and yes, they discovered that they were able to return to a state of just balance within their whole emotional, mental, physical systems much quicker when practicing.
So to go back to that analogy, Bridge, that you used with a tennis ball, so tennis balls just keep on coming at you. It's almost as if you do these exercises, and I think you're going to have to show our audience just one or so of those, one of those practices, but it's almost as if you're slowing down the speed of the ball that's coming. So the ball is still going to be coming at you, but it is slowing it down. So you not really physically, but mentally, it's almost like you're zooming in on that aspect, and you have far more focus on the actual object coming towards, in this case, the tennis ball. And it's almost like you have far better, you can see the spin of the ball or whatever it is, and then your body and your mind will respond to that. Is that basically what we're talking about?
Yes, it is. That's a good way of putting it, because, and it's not that the ball has changed. All that's changed is we have changed, and then it will appear that the balls are coming slower. That is true. That is exactly, that's a great analogy for it. Yeah. So and we will too put the links for the HeartMath into the below the video here, so that if anyone wants to look up a bit more about HeartMath, it's a very fascinating way.
I suppose wouldn't it be helpful to just, even if you would like to lead a minute, or if
yeah, of course, yeah. So
to give an actual experience of what it is.
Yes, yeah. So so just to become aware, first thing would be to put your focus. You can keep your eyes open or closed. So you're basically just bringing your attention to your heart. So that's your first thing. It can be helpful to put your hand on your heart to do this, because when you put your hand, your mind automatically puts the attention on your heart. And then you can, it's helpful to breathe through your nose if you can. If you can't, that's fine. So put your hand on your heart, or your attention on your heart. You take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, just breathing a little slower and deeper than you normally would. And then you simply imagine the breath is flowing into and out of your heart. So with your focus on your heart, you're imagining the breath is flowing into and out of your heart. And just slowing your breath down. So you can try a pace of count to 5. So breathing in for the count of 5. And breathing out for the count of 5. So that's the ideal for most people. But if you find that doesn't work for you, you can go at a slower pace or a faster pace. And the whole concept is to keep your breathing nice and balanced and even. So when you're breathing in, breathe in for the count of 5. Don't stop, and just then breathe out for the count of 5. So you're keeping your breath going nice and round and smooth. And that's the first practice. Simple as that. And that's the start of creating a state of coherence for yourself. And of course, like if you're in the middle of a stressful situation, you don't need to put your hand on your heart, and you just allow the focus to go down into your heart. Breathe a bit slower and deeper than you normally would. You've started becoming more coherent.
And nobody around you will even necessarily know that, you know, you've shifted in that way, except for they will feel, I suppose, a more balanced, kind of centered sense of you in the room. Eddie?
Yeah, I'm there. I actually think about from that, if you in a tennis match again, you know, if you're going to look at two people playing tennis, and let's use the real experts out there, is that they actually become in tune with one another. And isn't it basically the same thing? You know, they start anticipating, and there it is a matter of winning always, but it's more than just winning. They need to get to the ball, and they need to be able to return the ball. Another important aspect of that is to know then when to not actually go for the ball, because it's going to go out. You know, so if you get into that sense of what's happening around you, you can actually almost dodge the balls, or know which ones you have to really hit, or wherever you want to try it, or to actually leave it, let the problem go away, you know, because that could be a win for you, to not actually have to get the tennis ball back, you know. So but it is, if you're in that space, and if there's harmony, you can actually see that much easier.
That's true. Yeah, that's it. So I think might just finish up for today and this talk on resilience. Please do put any questions you have, or any comments, or what you do to build your own resilience. We'd love to hear from you. And please also do subscribe below. Just hit the subscribe button. And we will just wrap up from today. So is there anything, Eddie, you would like to say to finish up?
Yep. No, thank you. Thank you for watching, everybody. As for us, we're just having a conversation. So for us, it's actually, there's always something to be learned from this. But it is, what really is all about, it's to become aware of your body, become aware of your environment, and use the techniques, just get calm. That's how you're going to be able to deal and become more resilient in life.
Yeah, and I would absolutely agree. And I would feel that one of the key things that we're developing, as we're always a work in progress ourselves as we go along with this, and having these chats just keeps us centered within this space. And also, so that, I suppose, one of the things we're trying to help people to understand is that, you know, life isn't happening to us. You know, we are, you know, we're the drivers of our own, you know, bus in this life. And as we said before, each morning when we wake up, we look to, you know, what it is that life is going to ask of us in this day, you know, as opposed to, you know, it's just happening to us.
Yeah.
So I suppose we're trying to live a life with a little bit more intention.
Thank you, Anita.
Then we have many tools. These are the different tools that we use to try and achieve that. So, yeah. Yeah.
And when you say that about life, just what came to my head was like, if we look at life happening for us, it changes our perception totally. It makes it a totally different life. So on that note then, hoping that you do one of the little practice that we showed you there to just become a bit more coherent. And we'll leave that on, say goodbye to you till next time. So take care, everybody, and enjoy.
Cheers.